Have you ever sworn to yourself, from today on, nothing will break me, only to feel the sting of a single careless word moments later? You promised to be iron, yet a glance, a silence, a memory slices through the armor. That isn't weakness. It's the shadow announcing itself. Carl Jung warned, what you resist persists. The more you flee pain, the more precisely it hunts you. So let's stop fleeing and start integrating. Because freedom begins the instant you stop running and face the thing that chases you. Every wound still throbbing inside you is an unfinished conversation with yourself. Betrayal hurts because somewhere you still betray your own values. Rejection burns because a hidden part already doubts your worth. External daggers pierce only the flesh that's already tender. Jung called this the open complex, raw psychic tissue begging reality to press against it. As long as that tissue stays hidden, life will always find a way to poke it, and the pain will feel like fate. You are told toughness equals invulnerability, that they never show them it hurts, is strength. But toughness without consciousness is just numbness. And numbness doesn't protect you, it leaks. You lash out, shut down, self-sabotage. Pain rebranded as pride. The real alternative is lucid permeability, the skill of letting life wash through you without shattering your core. Imagine standing in a storm yet remaining centered, soaked but unbroken. That core is forged where ego meets shadow. Jung called it individuation, the lifelong work of reuniting every disowned fragment until nothing inside you is foreign. Each reintegrated piece acts like psychological Kevlar, because what is owned can no longer be weaponized against you. Critics lose ammunition. Betrayals lose surprise. You don't block the arrows, you melt them. That's why the truly integrated look untouchable. Pain enters, but finds no unhealed cavity to lodge in. So here is the first brutal truth. You'll never be hurt again the day you stop blaming events and start decoding them. Every stab is a map, every trigger a neon sign pointing to a buried shard. Follow those signs inward. Feel the sting, then track it. Where did this story begin? Who first taught you to ache like this? Your task is not to hide the softness. It is to understand it so deeply that nobody can weaponize it ever again. Pause now and notice what your mind just did. Perhaps it nodded. Perhaps it argued. Perhaps it wandered. That reaction is part of the map too. Resistance often dresses up as scrolling urges, sudden yawns, daydream detours, anything to dodge the mirror. Catch it, label it, keep reading. Each time you catch the mind fleeing, a larger you proves it's already awake. And watchfulness is inviolable. Science backs Jung. A 2018 Stanford study showed that simply naming a negative emotion reduces limbic firing by 25%. Labeling shifts power from amygdala to prefrontal cortex. Panic converts to data. Integration isn't mystical, it's neurological hygiene. The aim isn't perfect calm, it's responsive clarity. Insult still lands, but instead of hijacking the cockpit, the feeling sits in the passenger seat and you keep flying. Picture an oak in a hurricane. Branches whip, some snap, yet the trunk stands. Not because it resists the wind, but because its roots run deep in its wood flexes. You are that tree in training. Take a breath. Sense every flinch in your body. We're about to descend into Jung's personal unconscious, caves of forgotten memories, bottled screams, sacrificed desires. Descent feels like death because part of you will die, the illusion you can control the outer world while ignoring the inner. Let that illusion crumble. On the far side of its ruins lies the only real immunity. Self-possession. You're standing on the threshold. Below you, a stairway spirals into places memory refuses to label. Step 1 is recognition. Most of your life has been an autopilot trance. You wake, scroll, rush, react, and call that living. Jung warned that anything unconscious will direct your life, and you will call it fate. So the very first descent is a disenchantment. Seeing that the voice shouting, "Move faster, be nicer, don't feel," isn't yours. It's absorbed programming masquerading as identity. Notice the micro-explosions that reveal that trance. A joke about your looks that burns longer than it should. A friend's delayed reply that spirals into, "They hate me." These flares are GPS pings from your shadow. Each ping lights a tunnel. Follow it. Track the emotion back to its origin. Maybe a classroom where laughter felt like knives. Maybe a dinner table where silence meant danger. The brain never forgets. It only files. And files marked pain keep vibrating until opened. When the vibration hits, pause. 3 slow breaths, shoulders unclenched. Name what appears. Jealousy. Terror of being unwanted. Neuroscientists call this affect labeling. fMRI scans show a 25% drop in amygdala fire when you assign a word to a feeling. Labeling upgrades chaos to code, and code can be rewritten. Instead of "I'm angry," you tell the nervous system, "A surge of anger is here, asking to be heard." That single sentence moves you from puppet to observer. Now invite the surge to speak. Imagine the emotion as a younger you, 5, 9, 12 years old, clutching a torn backpack of unmet needs. Ask it gently, what do you need today that you never got back then? Maybe safety, maybe applause, maybe permission to rest. Whatever answer arrives, give it through words, a walk, a boundary, a creative act. Every time you self-supply a need, you patch psychic skin, and patched skin stops bleeding when reality rubs against it. Boundary setting is the lab where theory becomes blood. The next time someone demands an instant reply, say, "I'll get back to you tomorrow." Feel the cellular panic, they'll be mad. Then watch as the sky doesn't fall. Boundary after boundary, your nervous system learns a revolutionary fact. Survival no longer depends on self-betrayal. Energy once spent performing loyalty to others returns, fueling focus, humor, magnetism. People call it aura. It's simply unleaked life force. Critics still appear, but something peculiar happens. Their words reach you like arrows striking tempered glass, cling, noise without penetration. Why? Because you've befriended your inner critic, the harshest of them all. External voices can't outshout the judge you've already disarmed. The wound once shaped like their insult is gone. Nothing fits. What remains is data. They're projecting, they're scared. Move on. Hurt transfigures into insight, and insight into quiet authority. When 2 people meet, 4 psyches collide. Your conscious self, your shadow, their conscious self, their shadow. That swarm of unseen forces is why conversations can feel radioactive long after words fade. Jung called this invisible exchange projection. Each person hurls suppressed fragments onto the other and reacts to their own reflection. Understand that, and conflicts become X-rays. Every accusation aimed at you is a Polaroid of the accuser's disowned side. Every pang you feel is your own mirror begging to be cleaned. Take the classic tug-of-war between neediness and avoidance. You chase someone's attention, they pull away, you chase harder. agony for both. Shadow truth. You're pursuing the nurture you refuse to give yourself, while they're retreating from the vulnerability they secretly crave. The dance ends only when one partner steps out of the trance, meets their own need, names their own fear. That's why individuation is relational alchemy. Integrate within, and the external choreography rewrites itself. Try this experiment. The next time a friend's remark stings, pause and ask internally, what story about me did that sentence awaken? Maybe I'm incompetent. I'm boring. Trace that story to its first author, an old coach, a sibling, a cultural myth. See how the friend merely lit a pre-existing fuse. Now breathe, feel the heat, then answer from awareness, not offense. Often no reply is needed. The moment fizzles. You just rewired a decades-old neural loop in 5 conscious seconds. But what a betrayal, the deep cuts that seem unforgivable. Here, integration demands a funerary rite. Write a letter you'll never send, detailing every wound. Let rage, grief, disbelief bleed onto the page. Then burn it, literally. Watch smoke rise. Symbolic fire signals the limbic brain that the event is complete. Without ritual, trauma stays pending, looping like unfinished code. With ritual, memory remains, but the venom drains, leaving only scar wisdom. Scar wisdom upgrades perception. You start spotting red flags at whisper volume, the half-smile masking envy, the compliment laced with control. Instead of leaping into rescue or romance, you lean back, observe, choose deliberately. This is not cynicism, it's calibrated openness, because integrated people aren't closed, they're discerning. They trust intuition over impulse, patterns over promises. And that discernment is why they appear mysteriously lucky in relationships. Energy once hemorrhaged on drama now fuels creative purpose. Jung insisted each psyche contains an unlived life, a gold vein buried beneath persona rubble. Digging for that gold is mandatory. Otherwise, the vein metastasizes into restlessness and sabotage. Ask yourself nightly, what spark did I honor today that belongs solely to me? A paragraph written, a melody hummed, a business outline drafted. Protecting that spark with boundaries keeps your system oxygenated. Starved souls suffocate others. Nourished souls light rooms. Finally, meditate on this mantra when criticism arrives. Their words can bruise only the places I refuse to hold. If it bruises, hold it, own it, soothe it, study it. If no bruise arises, smile internally, the arrow passed through air. Day by day, the bruise map shrinks, the air expands, and hurt loses territory. That is the architecture of becoming untouchable from the inside out. The final illusion keeping pain alive is control. The mind swears that if it can micromanage every variable, tone, timing, people, fate, hurt will never land. That vow becomes a prison, because reality is a storm, not a spreadsheet, and storms rip false roofs off in seconds. Jung's cure was radical surrender, not passive resignation, but lucid acceptance of what is, paired with disciplined mastery of what can be. Start each dawn with stillness training. Sit upright, eyes relaxed. Thoughts stampede. To-do list. What she said. What if? Instead of wrestling, label. Worry, planning, memory. Neuroscience shows that labeling moves activity from limbic to prefrontal circuits, dropping physiological arousal by a quarter. In those microseconds of quiet, a wider you appears, the observer who cannot be injured. Feel how emotions flash like weather across that sky self and dissolve. 10 daily minutes of this rewires reactivity faster than 1,000 affirmations. Next, adopt voluntary discomfort. Cold showers, fasting, public speaking, truthful conversations that twist your gut. Each chosen sting conditions the nervous system to metabolize adrenaline without panic. Pain shifts from threat to temperature. You feel it, note it, adapt. Then when involuntary trials hit, breakups, layoffs, betrayal, your body recognizes the frequency. Heart pounds, but hands stay steady. You respond, not flail. That is embodied invincibility, forged through practice, not fantasy. Integrate a weekly shadow dialogue. On paper, split the page. Left column, your conscious voice. Right, a disowned trait, jealousy, greed, neediness. Let that trait answer your questions unfiltered. You'll find it is not evil. It's an exile guarding unmet needs. Thank it. Renegotiate its role. Promise visibility. Shadow herd becomes shadow ally, and allies do not ambush you in the dark. Now revisit forgiveness, often confused with weakness. Forgiveness is strategic cord cutting. Hatred tethers you psychically to offenders, feeding them attention. Release severs the line. You sail on. Forgive privately. You owe no performance. Remember, boundaries stand. Integrated souls can bless and block simultaneously. Compassion without self-abandonment is the mature heart's signature. Harness ritual fire to complete chapters. Burn an old journal. Delete that number. Toss the gift that anchors you to past versions. The limbic system understands symbols better than logic. Visible endings tell the body this story is done. Without ritual, trauma loops, demanding closure through replay. With ritual, memory becomes ancestor, not jailer. Energy reclaimed from control fantasies now fuels creative calling. Jung taught that unlived potential ferments into neurosis. Each avoided dream, book, business, journey mutates into restless scrolling and midnight dread. Counteract by feeding your genius daily, 500 words written, chords practiced, prototype sketched. The psyche that knows it is expressing purpose grows anti-fragile. Setbacks become plot twists, not verdicts. Keep a bruise map journal. Whenever criticism stings, mark spot and story. Cheeks flushed, told I'm lazy. Revisit monthly. Note which bruises faded after shadow work. Watching the map shrink proves to the subconscious that healing is empirical, not hypothetical. Proof breeds momentum. Momentum breeds courage. Courage breeds freedom. As mastery deepens, you'll observe a social shift. Drama magnets drift away. Calm innovators appear. Not magic, vibration. Integrated frequency repels chaos seeking hosts and attracts minds seeking mirrors. Some will label your serenity cold. Let them. Confusion is the price they pay for witnessing someone no longer governed by collective panic. Your task is not to explain your evolution. It is to embody it. Explanation dilutes frequency. Embodiment broadcasts it silently, irresistibly. Anchor the day with this mantra. I am the sky. Feelings are weather. I am the architect. Events are materials. I meet all storms with clarity. Whisper it at sunrise, mid-conflict and before sleep. Over weeks, the words carve neural canyon walls. Despair's floods can no longer erode you. The sky watches rain come and go, yet remains boundless. So will you. Pause, breathe. Feel how space expands behind your sternum when you release the myth of control. That spaciousness is your true refuge. Guard it ruthlessly. Share it generously. Next, we will climb to consciousness as shield, the apex where pain transfigures into raw creative power, and life's worst can crack you open, but never break you. Every path we've walked, shadow labeling, boundary forging, ritual fire, voluntary discomfort, has aimed at one summit: consciousness as shield. Imagine a crystal sphere at your core, clear, whole, undentable. Events strike it, but impact becomes light, refracted into meaning, then dispersed. This isn't metaphysics, it's neuroplasticity seasoned with myth. When the observing mind holds the steering wheel, sensations pass through, stories pass by, yet the driver remains calm, precise, alive. Consider grief, the sharpest spear. A loved one is gone, a future evaporates, the nervous system quakes. Consciousness as shield doesn't numb the ache, it contains it. You breathe into the shard, feel it radiate, whisper, "Pain, I see you." Teach. And pain teaches about impermanence, about tenderness, about priorities. Lessons integrate into wisdom. Wisdom fuels purposeful action, and action transfigures mourning into tribute. Hurt becomes harvest, or failure. A launch flops, a dream collapses, applause never arrives. Ego screams worthless. Consciousness smiles. Data. You autopsy the result, salvage insights, iterate. The project died, but you gained sophistication, anti-fragility encoded into every neuron. Over time, losses become research. Critics become consultants. Setbacks become catapults. That alchemy makes outsiders call you lucky, while you quietly track iterations like a scientist of destiny. This fear also reframes crisis. Economic crash, heartbreak, betrayal, where others splinter. You soften your knees, widen attention, locate the controllables. Maybe it's breath, maybe a single phone call, maybe only the choice to remain kind amid chaos. From that small pivot, new timelines branch. Survival first, creativity second, service third. The mind that once collapsed under gossip now architects solutions under gunfire. That is the dividend of integrated clarity. Practical anchor, the 90-second rule. Neuroscientist Jill Bolt Taylor proved that an emotion's chemical surge flushes through bloodstream in 90 seconds unless the mind re-triggers it with narrative. Next time rage flares, set a timer, breathe, watch it crest and drop. Do not feed it extra sentences. 90 seconds later, you'll stand in the calm eye, choice restored. Use that eye window to decide, respond, redirect, or release. 90 seconds is the distance between slavery and sovereignty. Now, widen perspective beyond self. Integrated individuals stabilize entire rooms. Your regulated heartbeat entrains others. Mirror neurons copy serenity. A single centered human at a family dinner can halt generations of reactive echo. That's not heroic fantasy, it's social neurobiology. Trauma transmits across lineages, but so does healing. By refusing to recycle hurt, you become a circuit breaker for everyone you touch. Does this mean you'll never feel fear again? No. Fear is weather. Shield is climate. Storms still visit, but inside the crystal sphere, the climate stays temperate, capable of reason, humor, compassion. Spartans called this inner citadel. Buddhists, emptiness. Jung, self. Names differ, essence identical, a center spacious enough to house every season without being demolished by any. Cultivate a closing ritual, nightly integration. Before sleep, scan the day. Where did bruises surface? Where did clarity reign? Mentally gather fragments, breathe them into the heart, whisper, all parts belong. The unconscious digests the offering during REM, weaving disparate scenes into cohesive myth. Each dawn you wake incrementally more collected, less prey to surprise arrows, more guide to wandering others. One last permission. joy. Many trauma pilgrims forget delight, wearing seriousness like armor. Yet laughter oxygenates psyche, dance unsticks somatic residue, beauty reminds the nervous system why we bother. Schedule wonder the way you schedule workouts. Sunrise walks, music at full volume, shared absurdity with friends. A nervous system fluent in joy recovers faster when pain pulses. The crystal sphere glints brighter in sunlight. Let's seal this journey with a living mantra. Speak it aloud, feel vibrations settle into bone. I embrace every shadow, wield every lesson, and greet every wound with sovereign clarity. I am unbreakable, not because nothing hurts, but because nothing owns me. Breathe. Again, feel how the sentence hums beneath ribs. That hum is the resonance of an integrated self, oak-rooted, storm-tested, sky-wide. Carry it into traffic, meetings, heartbreak, and birth. Let strangers wonder why chaos swirls, yet your gaze stays lucid, warm, unthreatened. They'll call it stoic, holy, intimidating, magnetic. You'll simply know it as home. One final spark. Turn outward. Choose a soul in your orbit still shackled by self-doubt. Share this blueprint, model the practices, embody the calm. Transformation scales through example faster than lecture. The healed become healers. The centered seed new centers. The once broken build sanctuaries. Video ends here, but your expedition doesn't. Integration is lifelong, spiraling deeper, wider, brighter. Rewatch, revisit, revise. Each loop you'll hear fresh code, because each loop you'll be new. Voyage well, sovereign soul. And remember, you will never be hurt again, for you have turned every blade inward, forged it into wisdom, and now step into the world not armored, but alive.